Alright, so tell me a story. What's going on?
Where am I going? We're down one thing, right? We're trying to.
I'm lost. I'm a lost soul.
You're lost?
I'm a lost soul. Yeah.
In regards to some short game stuff?
Hmm?
In regards to some short game stuff?
No, I'm lost there too. I'm lost across the board.
Okay.
I
How is the practice over the course of the last week? Well, like
practiced
since then?
Friday, and I felt like I was very diligent as to staying with what we're talking about and staying with, what we're trying to accomplish and what we're trying to do.
Mhm.
And I was okay with that. But yesterday,
Yesterday, yes.
I was kind of upset because, well, I wasn't really upset, I'm just like, what's going on? I knew I was hitting off the heel.
Okay.
I mean, I don't, at HR, I don't really think too much about those cameras because I know they're all screwed up.
And you can always ask someone to adjust it, that's okay.
No, nobody's gonna adjust that. So, yeah, it was like all off the heel.
Okay.
And it's like, this is not good at all. And it was the little half swings, the little punch swings.
Yeah.
And I thought, impact was good, but for some reason I must be like falling forward. And it's like, why are you falling forward? So it's like, where are you going now with this? So, and then I was a little confused about the finish position that we're looking for that is so important.
Okay.
So then I saw Betsy after that, and we worked on balance stuff like we always do, and that little punch shot thing. I'm just a little, maybe a little distressed.
Okay.
So we're not moving on from there.
Nope, but
In
that's
a
the good thing about
different
what we're,
direction.
well, it's a good thing about what we're talking about here. Because with a lot of the short game stuff, we'll actually be able to talk about and work on some of the similar follow-through stuff. So we can answer any number of questions.
I feel like it's the same thing, so I tried to kind of go back to that.
Yeah. And what was your success like?
Where's the club head at?
Um,
Where do I want it?
Friday I ran out of time.
Okay.
Better.
What else so far today?
Today I just feel a little off, like maybe I just got a little derailed, so I need to get on the train again.
Okay. Fair enough. Can I just have you stand straight up for me? Look straight ahead. Here's what I prefer to do, at least just to start. Start with a
Make the stroke.
relatively small chip and run.
Can't do it here.
We can. We would just need to go on the other side of the green. But just to kind of see what we're working with and see where we're going, and then kind of get back to the 60-yard shot. And then also do some putting as well once the putting area is available. It's funny that I said putting area. What I really mean by that is the hole. Okay, so here we are just slightly off the edge of the green, 25 yards, relatively flat.
Stop at impact, right? Right, on that last one?
Whenever you're ready, let's see what the tendency is, or I just want to watch where you're going.
Rest hands in front of the golf ball.
Yeah, I mentioned, but I think it was more
Hands in front of the golf
mental
ball.
than physical
Right.
in California, because I was fine on the practice green, but when I was playing, the shorter shots were like very
they,
cautious, maybe cautious, a little
Okay.
fearful.
yeah, tending
It's
to be
like-
a little too short
Well,
or tentative?
yeah, very tentative, because especially with that off the heel yesterday, that's really bothering me,
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's a little too hard. That's okay though. And we probably would use a 52 in this situation.
Yes.
Okay. Let's try a few more.
Something with one hand, okay? One hand is punch. You're gonna use your,
Pretty good.
use your trail, okay?
That was off the toe.
What I want you to do, lean hip forward, make it curl, okay?
Go ahead.
What you should be looking for is going to like this. So I make one hand stroke, no line. Okay. Nope. Very good.
How's that one, Pam?
Go ahead and do a couple practices before you hit the ball.
I thought contact was pretty good.
Okay.
Hard for me to judge distance in here.
It is, and you know,
I mean,
we're obviously
because
working
usually-
with an imperfect science, but I guess the principle behind it is what I want to do right now is so that way when we're outside this coming season, we don't have any questions of, okay, well, this is how I want to hit this shot. And it should be just more, here's a shot, execute it, okay, now go make your putt because we're doing really well. That would be my intent with you. But one of the big things that you and I have been talking about for a very long time is just where the hands could or should be moving. And this is kind of like the first thing that kind of popped into my head, which was, okay, well, there's a little bit of heel contact. I bet the arms are actually lifting up a little bit. And I think at times when you try to have your arms straight, or when you try to just bring this club back straight, we kind of run into this old issue right here where the hands actually do lift and they work out away from you a little bit too much. Even for such a small swing, those hands should be staying a little bit lower.
Like that.
Right? And when the hands are lower, then we actually have a better chance of actually having that club work in the correct direction. And even though these last two you hit a little bit on the more on the middle or on the toe, it's still that kind of glancing stroke. And you can even see this club head as it's actually coming a little bit outside and then kind of hits the ground kind of hard and then bounces up into the air over here. So the follow through is actually really good, but it's kind of more of that almost like a out to out move. So what I'm going to ask of you
Where are your hands at right now?
is take our mode of that small practice swing that we used to do, where you're really exaggerating the hands in and around, right? Sorry, is it hands around? Hands around. Right. Not too worried about the club head just yet. Okay. Just really trying to make sure that those hands are working very far away.
Good. See how you held that wrist position
And we'll do another 3 with the ball.
Am I done practicing?
And it just happens that that one goes a little bit too far. It actually drew, right? Whereas the other ones were kind of those little weak baiting shots. So take that same tactic, right? Not back quite as far. The hands are still going to move in the same direction, but we still have to hit a 25-yard shot.
Okay. I'll get little. Or little.
Get littler.
I'll get littler.
Still, much cleaner contact. And again, what you'll notice when you hit the ground there, the club just kind of skips off the ground. It doesn't slam into the ground. And when we look at what you're actually doing here in the beginning portion of the swing, you can see how low your hands stay. And even though that club head comes fractionally inside, that's okay. That's okay. That's a much better version, and probably one of the #1 things that I would tend to look at when things aren't going right. I'm basically just, okay, where's my hand path? So what's the direction my hands are working? And then continue to work on other things.
I'm more aware of club out and more thinking about hands like at the finish, not at the start. So, which is probably why I'm going around.
Can we do this? And I agree with you. I agree with you. Let's see if we can do the hands around and see how close we can get to the hole. What would you expect as far as an objective of yourself? What's the distance or the proximity that we should be able to hit a ball to the hole from 25 yards?
3 feet.
3 feet, okay. That's aggressive.
That's me. I don't have a lot of time in life.
Let's say,
I need to get it close.
okay, can we say 6?
6 feet?
Yeah. Inside 6 feet with your hands around.
Okay.
Let's make that the objective. How many chances do you want, or how many chances do you think it's going to take you to actually get that objective? Inside 6 feet from 25 yards. What do you think?
5 or less.
5 or less. Okay, I'll give you 5 chances.
Okay.
No big deal?
Nope. Just getting a feel for it, even though I've done it like a couple times already.
It's a little different when the intention is different, isn't it?
Still short.
Not by much. It's short of the hole, yes. You got pretty close there to the flag though.
Alright.
That was actually 11 feet 5 inches, so you're getting there. Fight. That was attempt number 3. Ooh, 7 feet 3 inches. I'm telling you, the 3 feet is really close. You're still doing a good job with the hands around. Could be a little bit more though, okay? Nice stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Pressure shot.
Yeah, I know, because I'm trying to think of technique rather than,
Well, we're trying to intermix the technique and the target. Right? Hitting the target with the form.
go, 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 go,
Yeah.
go, go, go.
Okay. So we didn't do it within 5. That's okay. I'm going to change the shot slightly. This is the exact same shot. We're just going to be a little bit closer. Okay, so I guess it's not the exact same, but now it's only 16 yards. Okay. Hands still have to go low and around. Six feet 5 inches. Really good. How many chances do you want to get this one inside 6 feet?
Well, it does feel like I
5.
have
5. Okay. So we'll say we have 4 left.
We got the super stroke jumbo on here, okay? That's all the different ones,
my best ones. That one was in the hole, you know that.
I'm sure it was.
Know it.
Bigger clutter on there. You can think like the 5.0, which is the big one, 5.3. 5, that's up 3.5.
Door.
They'll cut it off and put a new one on, it'll cost you like 25 minutes. Right.
So here's the one that we executed well, as far as getting the ball to go into the target that we wanted to. And here's your hands actually doing a much better job of staying low and around.
Okay, so
They have anywhere from like 2.
should we go back to outside lessons? What we talk about there? I mean, it's obviously obvious to me. This is like it's supposed to be like the club up, open the club face, through.
You're doing a better job of it, but the biggest key to that is when your hands have to stay very low. Because if your club goes up and your hands follow, then it's going to be a disaster. So that's why it's so important to have the hands around. So here's the 25-yard shot again.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going back to that one. We said we can get it inside 6 feet in 5 tries. Let's see how we do. That might land in a hole.
Oh, stop! Whoa!
Okay.
Whoa, whoa!
Now we go. You do hit it much cleaner and farther when you move your body this way, though. Wait.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Stop! Oh, don't premature! Don't premature!
It's perfect. 3 feet 10 inches. Nicely done. Now, what questions, comments, concerns do you have about this shot in particular?
Nothing. It's just a smaller version of the full swing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Close to club face to close.
Okay, well.
That's the question. Or the
That's the
statement.
question. All right. My rebuttal to that is,
Am I worrying about the wrong thing?
I would prefer that on the right than this on the left.
Okay.
And I would also say that the club face is, it's not overly closed. The one on the left probably is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, and I thought I was recording that whole thing, sorry. I'd rather have the one on the right because the hands are lower, more around, excuse me, I keep on saying lower, I'm sorry. The hands are more around because that's our version of saying it. And as a function of that, then it actually keeps that. And you might be thinking about it a little bit, that's fine. But I put such a high priority on the hands being very close to the bottom blue line than I would on the, even if your club face was more open on the left-hand side.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, so what if we did this now? Can we switch holes?
Sure. Love to.
Pick a number 1 through 18.
12.
Pardon me?
12.
We could do 12. 12 is going to be fun. 12 is going to be a very intimidating, we're going to call this a pitched shot, okay? Mainly because there is a whole bunch of grass to cover and not a whole lot of green to work with.
Am I standing in the hazard?
You are short of the hazard. You're in front of it.
Maybe it's frozen.
Hopefully not. So it's a 30-yard shot. So it's actually not that much farther than the previous shot we were just hitting. And let's just see your attempt at doing this to the best of your ability. And then when we're done with this, we'll do some putting. Is that okay? Is that okay?
It's fine.
Okay. Very good result.
Oh, spin! Spin!
Let's get a few of these, okay?
Sure. Rather be too far than too short.
In this situation, yes, you are absolutely correct.
Okay. Got this. Good. Come on.
Yeah. This is another really good version, Pam. Just want to go through and kind of continue with this same process. So again, just like the full swing, just like with that chip shot, we want to make sure that the hands are staying very, very much around. I'm more careful with that version now. And this is where I think we can start to correlate a little bit more of that full swing idea. It doesn't have to be exact, but it's going to be close to the full swing. And this is where we would just want to make sure that we're continuing to move the club path more into out, and we're continuing to actually flex that lead wrist a little bit more, where by the time you're hitting the golf ball, even though we can't really see it, that left wrist has started to kind of do more of the scooping thing. And I think by focusing on where we actually want to be in the follow-through, we can actually do a better job of hitting the shot. Because again, your tendency is to hit these shots short and then have to take a bigger swing and then still swipe across it. Go ahead and take your normal grip and setup, and I'm actually going to critique the ball here. Because this is going to be exactly like we were talking about on Thursday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, don't worry too much about the backswing, you're going to do the backswing just fine. Stay there, stay there, stay there. So that might have been a little bit of what's happening there, but more there and more there. Okay. If you want to do this, it's fine, but more of this. Okay. Yeah. So just holding that as best you can. There you go. And then still continuing to try to swing the most this way. So when you hold your follow through, you're going to try to hold that follow through over here. Did you say yikes?
Yeah, I said yikes.
Fine.
That's what the good part of being old. Every day is new and fresh. It's like 11 years ago when we were starting on the little chippy shot, which is coming up in 2 weeks. It's our silver, whatever, golden anniversary, 11 years on the 11th. Whatever that means, I don't know what it means. It means you have to give me a clock.
Okay.
To show up on time or something. Okay, let's.
Did you not like that one? That was really good.
It wasn't a question of liking or not liking it, I was so focused.
Did it hurt?
It hurt. It's like a brain freeze.
Good.
So, how do you think I did?
I think it was pretty good. Yeah, much better. So hands were still low and around. Gosh, sorry, I'm saying low. Hands were still around, doing a really good job with.
It's good to say low.
Well, again, when last time we were talking about full swing, your low version included actually pushing down on a club, and your hands actually got lower to the ground, and it's just that they just need to stay around. That's one of the factors there. But this is a much better version as far as coming through, and you can see that how much more flexion your lead wrist has.
So I'm looking for the flexion.
You're looking for the flexion, yes.
Flexion
Of
is
your
good.
left wrist. Is good.
Flexion. Flexion.
Flexion.
So now you want me
And
to
what
get
you
closer
should-
to the target?
Well, eventually, yeah. But what we should be seeing is a lower ball flight. Mainly a lower launching ball. Because if we're doing that, then we have more foreshafting, we can off the club and we can actually launch it lower. And even for all of these shots, I think what happens with you is that you see an object on the ground and you say, okay, well, I need to hit it over that. And to this day, I still think that like, subconsciously you say, okay, well, I need to get the ball over it, so therefore I need to go above it. But in reality, when you hit your golf ball, it already gets above the ground, so it's already going high enough.
Okay.
Unless if we're in like a really unique circumstance where the green is 10 feet above you, but how often does that happen?
Oh, when you're a short person,
At Winnetka.
when you're short, that green is above you many times. I am opening the club face.
A little bit on the backswing, correct?
No, I have a dress.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. You want it lower?
No, what I'm saying is that when you do it correctly, like you did those last two, the ball launches lower.
Okay.
Because you're executing the form.
Okay. Come on, baby. Oh, oh, baby. Oh, baby. It should have been lower. No?
That was not as good at the flexion.
Okay, more flexion.
I got these. Please, do you swing?
I'm not swinging. I'm working on flexion.
You're flexing
Flexion.
all the way through, right? Just like a normal swing. So when you take those practice swings, go. Good. Yeah, all the way through to here. All the way to there. So don't just stop at the back. Good, good, good. There you go. Still trying to hit it 30 yards. That was a little short. Alright. Was that the one that you were... And I want to address that. I don't want to harp on it. I don't want to talk about it too much. But again, it's those shots right there that I think that we're so focused on trying to lean the shaft forward. It's when the hands continue to go too far out away from us. Okay, and usually it's because even though we get to here, right, what's one thing that we talk about in the full swing, that the hands have to continue to go around our body, hands around, hands around. We can't necessarily have those hands get too far out away from us, particularly right in this stage of the swing. So even though we're actually taking a slightly longer swing, there still shouldn't be hardly any arm left. Okay, we need to continue to get it with turn. And that's how we hit it farther. We would just turn more. Okay? Okay. What, you just realized the color of the foam?
Well, I know.
Yeah. Peach. This is, again, just another really good version of what we're talking about. You can see that your hands continue to go around, they never lift up. So that way, by the time you come back to that golf ball, the hands are much closer to like inside that cone, and they're not reaching outward as much as they had been earlier. So you're of course able to hit the ball more in the middle of the club, and you do a better job with the wrist. We could do a little more flexing, but we're doing a really good job with all of the above. So let's try this again. We'll hit. You want to try a farther shot, or are you pretty good on this? I feel like as the swings get longer, as you can hit it farther, then it would force you to turn more. And I've always felt like you do better from that like 45 to 60 range. But it's these short ones that we have to remind ourselves, okay, we'll have to turn and know those ones. Do you want to hit a few more, or do you want to move to some putting
Let me
stuff?
try one more here.
One more here? Okay.
Cutting stuff?
Yes. Let's do some putting stuff. Okay, fun,
Turn more?
two fun challenges.
Well, learning really.
That's just a little thin. It's not that bad. I don't think you need to turn more. You just have to keep your hands around. Your hands around will force you to turn more. There you go. And maybe I just misspoke, but what I was saying was, as you have to hit it farther, you would then take a longer swing and you would turn more.
That's where
That's where you're
my apprehension comes in.
forcing
Hitting
yourself.
off the heel.
But the more your hands are around, the less likely we are to hit it on the heel. It's when we don't turn is when the arms lift, and that's when we hit it on the heel.
If it was easy, I would have been
If it was
graduated with
easy,
my
everyone would
green
be doing
jacket
it.
a long time ago. But no.
It's easy to make it too complicated. Okay, so we're actually going to go into the little hole over there. I don't need this anymore.
Calling it the putting surface?
We'll call it the putting area. Looks pretty warm out there.
Yeah.
Does it?
So did you start your car from the house? You don't really want to do that, you could asphyxiate your whole family.
Yeah, we were already, Megan had already left, so we're in the garage.
Yeah, I
It
know.
was 36 degrees in my garage.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you went in your garage, started your car, and came here and went to the garage and came up here. I got up at 5 o'clock, did my yoga meditation, put on my Canada Goose, plus
So you were
several other
outside
layers,
quite a bit.
and I had, well, cause Pilates is at 7.
This is just going to be a test.
For the next 60 seconds.
If you choose to accept it, all you have to do is just roll that ball down the ruler, and if it hits the wall gently, that's okay. But you just got to keep the ball on the ruler as long as you can. Can you roll your sleeves up for me, please?
It's the first time ever in 11 years that I ever wore long sleeves.
It must be cold. Okay.
It's
I'm just
only
gonna.
on when I did that mile walk over to Pilates at 7 o'clock in the morning. But no,
Ooh, close. We're gonna do 10 of these. Nice.
Do I get credit for that? Yeah.
I'm gonna have you put the ball in the hole, force you to kind of get into your setup every time.
You're just lazy.
Nope, you're just doing too much robot golf. Sit on. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Oh, now I can't hit the wall.
No, you're fine. It's not hard. It's close. So I'll give it to you. When was that?
I lost count
Okay.
with the headphone.
Yeah, we'll do distracted.
Distracted. I was distracted.
We'll do 2 more.
Distracted again.
1 more. We do have video evidence of this too, so we can always go back and find out how many you made and you make. So here's what I found really interesting about this. Jason, can you lower that? Sorry.
Do you have earphones?
Nope.
Headphones?
Nope. I can turn it down though.
Focusing is a skill. Okay, stay focused on what you're doing. Don't worry about anything else. Okay. I found it interesting that you missed. You only missed 1 that went off to the right. The 3 or 4 that you missed went off to the left. Go ahead and set it again for me one more time. And it's going to be a relatively, I don't want to say simple, but a pretty basic adjustment that we need to make. So from your setup, whenever you're ready. And I know you're kind of using this, but at times, when you lean the shaft forward like this, the club face ends up twisting.
You know what? You know what happened?
They put the grip on wrong.
No. They
It's the
put.
wrong size.
It is the wrong size. I wanted the same as I had before, and he went smaller, so it was really acute in California.
Yes.
So I'm going back to the PGA store right after this
Okay.
to get a new grip. Yeah, it's like, you know, I do have tiny little hands, but
But having a slightly larger grip might help. That's
Huh?
fine, that's fine. Having a slightly larger grip might
I
help.
had a larger grip that I was used to. So,
That doesn't defeat the purpose, though, that as we actually get a little bit of forward shaft length, we should be pointing the putter face. What might look to you a little open, but it's actually going to be pretty straight. And it's more just a precautionary, hey, when we get some forward shaft length, let's just make sure the face is pointing straight. Stay right there. Thank you. Well done. Much better. Not too much of an adjustment,
no.
right? But just a little tweak there. Okay? So we're gonna move on to our next challenge.
Okay.
Okay? You're gonna go all the way down there on the other end of the hall. I'm gonna grab a
Oh,
cup.
I'm gonna go down there.
You're gonna go down there.
In the heel? Trying to go. Good. Good. Piston goes out there?
Yeah.
Used to it?
I, feel more comfortable with that.
Look.
It's just a matter of, so it's amazing how much
better you hit the ball at the.
Nicely done. Very good.
Easier to swing, right?
Okay, so you're 1 for 2.
Tempo does, you know?
Keep going, okay?
What's that?
What tempo does.
Yeah.
So nice and easy. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're trying to get at. And then we'll incorporate your swing before you know it, and we'll be hitting nice little draws for you.
You think?
That's the goal.
You think somebody was throwing a golf ball at me and I'm trying to hit it?
Well done.
No.
Very well done.
Oh, that's when you get those really.
Yeah.
Let's do one more, Pam.
Imagine hitting a baseball.
I know it's not 10, but-
with a golf ball, with a golf ball club, that'd be really hard.
Well, that's sometimes what it feels like when you're in your swing's out of whack. You feel like the ball's swinging too high.
Nice. After a little while, you get really good at it, so let's just, let's go back in here. Alright, so let's just get a couple on this video here. We don't need your ball necessarily. But let's actually let's pick a different hole. Yes. We'll still do the practice mode. Pick a number 1 through 18 for me, please.
3.
3? Okay. 3's a fun one. The green, that is. Alright. So 3. Okay. So this is just going to be a relatively basic putt. This is about 24 feet. Let's just see your best attempt at getting the ball as close to the hole as we can. If it goes in, great. If not, that's okay too. All right. It's pretty straight, just breaking a little bit to the left. Good putt. Go in the hole. Oh.
Beginner's luck.
Good job. Try again. Great. I'm gonna finish up here. You can keep on practicing. What I would recommend, though, that you do, set up a course to play. Force yourself to use the clubs that we have. But if you hit the green, putt off of the green so that way you're forced to chip on again. If you miss the green, then just chip it on.
Okay.
Okay? And then when we set it up for gimmies inside 6 feet.
Okay.
Don't do auto putt.
Okay.
Okay? And I'll do more of the audio here for putting so that way you have it for your lesson online. I do have to jump into another lesson now. Okay?
Hour?
It's amazing how quickly time flies, right?
No, I mean, I have a question. I'm gonna stay home tomorrow instead of practicing because it's gonna be 30 below 0.
Yep.
And everybody else in the world is staying home, and I thought I'd do some stuff.
We'll be here.
Yeah, I know, you go from garage to garage.
I do.
No, I mean, I could go, but, should I be using this thing, you think?
No.
How can I practice at home? Just try to,
Yeah, I mean, I think just doing a lot of these, as much as you can try to get your hands around, and as much as you can try to maintain this flexion of this.
without using it. Okay.
Yeah, I think what that does is it forces your hands to be too active, and it kind of messes you up a little bit.
Okay.
Can I get a hug?
T. Sullivan, oh. Thank you.
for everything.
Mm-hmm, sure.